This is a pretty intense undertaking you've got going on, Rod. What if you had to sum up for the viewing public your aim, your intent? Because you don't seem to be very particularly partisan. You don't seem to be particularly, party based in any way. You have sort of a singular intent. Could you?
All right, but let's not do it like Wolf Blitzer. Let's just do it like two guys sitting on the couch for real.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you had. I thought you.
No, it's all good. I'm happy with that. That's fine.
Well, okay. So okay.
I mean, it's a good opener, but I don't think that's what you and me are to each other.
No, if you want to talk about what you and me are to each other, let's talk about the fact that it's a fucking good thing that I wasn't there while Donald Trump's fucking supporters were smashing you around, because somebody would have got hurt. Because that shit ain't right. First of all,
he's just gone from Wolf Blitzer to smash. Which is not what I'm about, and I don't think that's what Joe is about either.
Whoa, hold up, because here's the big difference. No, it's not what you're about, but I'm about something altogether different. And the reality is, especially in a situation like that, which is a charged situation, I'm not exactly sure I would have needed to get physical, because I by mere presence, large.
You have a physical presence,
right?
You are.
I'm also I'm brown and I look like I could go to town, and that's the worst nightmare. I'm brown, I know what's going down, and I look like I could take you to town. And that's the worst nightmare for the people that you were dealing with,
Perhaps, as I said earlier, our mutual friend Mark McKay, who, again, he says he's a Trump supporter, offered to go there as security detail next time. It's an interesting, philosophically, to consider someone like him. Your perspective would be that it would be problematic because he is a Trump supporter, that he is of that ideology, but he is of the ideology also that freedom of speech is the First Amendment is an important thing.
Yeah, well, he's he and many people like him, and I don't want this to be like a personal dig on this one.
So yeah, let's not talk about our personal history or too many people from our background or our town, or because there's a lot because I am the number one villain to Trump people. So yes. Let's not bring up.
But there is an undercurrent in, because here's the interesting thing about how we got to where we are now. Way back in the pre-Tea Party nation days. There was, I myself was a libertarian a long time ago. One of the things I liked
there was a different definition. I often thought of myself that way,
well, at that time,
but that meant something different
at the time. But what it meant at the time was an individual who believed that their rights were irrefutable, and they were constrained only by that which was constitutional law of the land. Now, for the individual you were talking about before, and many others like him, I would presume, that's actually still the core tenet, which is why this is somebody who would be willing to volunteer to stand by your side and defend your right to say the things that those people who agreed with him didn't want to hear. And I actually think we need,
right,
if there is that element, if there is that undercurrent in the right, then that's something we need. Because
on the other hand, there's those guys from Michigan. Remember, you saw the video of those
the two guys in the car. Yeah. Okay. I don't understand where they were coming from.
I mean, they're about nationalist capitalism and basically monetizing racism, monetizing fascism.
That was the thing that terrified me about it, was there is such an intense racist undertone to what they were. And if you were to call them racist, they would say they weren't. Which is
no. He flat out said that we need to go kick ISIS and those Muslim. I don't know if he said towelheads, but.
No,
we need to kick those Muslim asses and take their oil and make money off it.
Right, but now if you were to ask, but here's the thing, I'll bet you that individual does not see what he said as a statement of racism.
No, he doesn't. But even previously in that night, Donald Trump specifically, and I've been to a number of Donald Trump events where I've watched the entirety of the speeches. They don't cover it all. That's the whole thing about going to all of these speeches. They only cover the points that they want to play in the news cycle. But over and over, Donald Trump would start off his speeches with, we have a big problem here, China. They make a lot of money. They do, they make materials, but they're winning. We need to take back what China's taken from us and make it better.
The debt we
need to make America better again. But then specifically says, listen, we've been going to Iraq, Afghanistan. Obama's brought us to all these countries in the Middle East. They've all got oil. Lots of oil. Oil, Joe. And no one's profiting on it here in America. Who's profiting on it? the towel head. He didn't say towel heads, but I mean, this is he's skirting around these ideas.
Spurious idiocy, though. No one's profiting on.
No, he says that if I go to war, with these people, we're going to profit off the oil. Oh, Trump literally said that he wanted to profit off of the oil.
We already are.
I understand it goes in the pockets of Halliburton.
Does he not understand that the money that these people at the United...
I'm saying that this is what he's saying.
...is coming from us?
I get
made them rich.
I understand, but this is the rhetoric that Trump is putting out there, and these two guys, Joe Sylvester, who's the main guy in that video, and I don't remember his friend's name. The
Twinks, I think his name was.
Whatever.
Sparkles or something like that. I don't know.
No. That is definitely not what his name was. That's just not the point. The point is that they're following up with this rhetoric, and I think
was that the other guy?
No, stop it. I think that Trump probably just has focus groups, and someone's telling him, well, these are the things that right wing people like to hear. Say that stuff, and you'll get elected. And I'm not even sure that he even cares about being a president, because it's a downgrade for him.
He wants to get elected to say that it's one more thing that Donald Trump achieved.
That's a little star on his on suit.
The merit badge system that he invented for himself.
Yeah.
Because newsflash, Donald, you're already a multimillionaire. You're doing better than most people.
Billionaire.
You're doing okay, buddy. You don't need this, and we don't need you.
Well, sure. It's about his ego. Clearly, I mean that's what we're talking about here. So
what's terrifying me is that we're in a position now. We're in a state of our culture now where the fact that his option is ludicrous is not widely comprehended. Okay, the very idea that he has the option of pursuing movie Magic Love, that he has the option of pursuing the presidency in any real capacity is terrifying. Terrifying.
But money is speech. Money is power. Money is what gets you there. And the only difference is that he's not a Koch brother in the sense that he wants to actually be the front man. He wants to be the front man of the band. And in the past, the Koch brothers have just said, "Hey, listen, man, we're going to be the bass and the drums. Jeb Bush or George Bush.
You play lead.
You go out there and be Axl Rose,
right?
And do your screaming, say whatever you want to say.
But to push that metaphor, okay,
sure.
Trump's no Axl Rose.
Well,
Trump.
Yeah,
Trump is more. Trump, honestly.
Go on.
To push that metaphor, Trump is more...
White Snake, Beatles, where are we going?
I would say Tom Jones. Because it's somebody else's material presented in highly coiffed, highly stylized, utterly vapid fashion. It
isn't hard to
blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 exactly.
Skid-a-dip-ba-ba, Wayne Newton, la-di-da.
It's not unusual to hate on the Arab race.
Shenandoah.
When you've got an orangutan's butt hanging in your face.
Oh, it's an ear of corn.
It's terrible.
It's like politics porn. It's like hate and scorn. It's like everything horrible going in your all the hate and fear. It's getting all too dear to the Republicans. And when the GOP, they finally see that Donald Trump is not the one for you and me, we'll have to say it's not the way.
Well, but that's the problem, is I don't know if that's actually going to happen.
Well, you never know.
Because here's what worries me about Trump. Is that when it comes time for the GOP to actually make their decision about who they're going to endorse, he's going to have too much of the American knucklehead contingent behind him for them to be like, no, you're a jackass, we were kidding. They can't. This is becoming the very definition and the most frightening definition of the term cult of personality. Because that is all he's got. Is this explosive, blustering image, and it's bombastic, and it's audacious, and it's, God help us, it's like 89.9% effective.
He went from Celebrity Apprentice saying that, oh, hey, I don't need that show. They can take it. But if Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to take it over, that's great because I'm going to get a percentage of it. But I got a better reality show going on right now. So all you step off, that's fine. I get my cut. Hey, boom, I'm the president. And this is how the world is going to be run from now on. It's about a popularity contest and clickbait. This is the thing. The more ridiculous you are, the more that there's a conflict, the more clicks that you get in your videos, and this is how the media has been monetized at this stage. Right now, there's the Democratic candidate who's a Harvard law professor called Lawrence Lessig.
Mm-hmm.
He's a one-issue candidate, and his issue is to get money out of politics. He said that if he raised $1 million by Labor Day, he would run. He got a Kickstarter or some kind of public fundraiser campaign like that, and he got the $1 million, and so now he's out there running. And now he's done all the things that you're supposed to do to get into the debates with Hillary and Bernie.
Bernie Sanders, yeah.
And it's basically to get 1% in the national polls, but you got to get in more than one of the national polls. He's already polling in New Hampshire and Iowa, and he's doing fine. He's doing at a better rate than Scott Walker was, or the other 17 candidates on the Republican side. So you would think that this is a non-issue, but the press isn't covering it at all. And so what we can see is that the media fears what he's doing because...
Well, it's a game change. He's taking...
It's not just a game change. The media profits on what the debates are doing. The media profits on when all these politicians get together. And so if he's talking about getting money out of politics, then...
He's talking about getting them out of politics.
Exactly. And
because
so this is problematic. So what they've done, they've
Lipitor and Lunesta between breaks on the Republican National Committee meetings.
The media has literally taken him out of the polls so that he can't qualify for this first round of Democratic debates, and that is highly undemocratic. And that goes all the way back to what happened to me at the Trump rally, which is that I spoke my mind. And regardless of what you think of my opinion or how I handled myself among the Trump supporters, I was speaking first of all, I was called upon. I spoke my mind. And then...
but you did worse. You did more than that. You outspoke the mind that it called upon you. And that, my friend, is cardinal sin.
All right, so what did I say? It was 1 Timothy 3, because Trump called on me and he said, what's your favorite Bible verse?
He was expecting you to not be able to cough one up.
So, right, well, but I did, and it was 1 Timothy 3, 1-7. It is noble to seek the office of overseer, which actually in biblical terms is referring to seeking the office of bishop. But I was using it as a metaphor for the election. It doesn't matter. It's
No, I'm going to have to call you on that. That is a historical impossibility. Bishop. Because to be a bishop is a post-created, post-catechism. And in biblical terms, Jesus is still alive, so Catholicism hasn't started yet. There are no bishops.
Okay, well, I will grant you that perhaps I'm mistaken on that. I know that there's not such a thing as the presidency.
Right.
I was using it as a metaphor for the presidency.
Right. But it's to seek an office.
Listen. I'm not a Catholic Pope. I'm not a Catholic bishop. I'm not any of these things. So okay, maybe you're telling. Okay, I got to go back and read it. But this is what the quote is that it's noble to seek the office of overseer. However, he who does should be above reproach, sober-minded, not quarrelsome. That doesn't sound like you, Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. Married only once.
That's certainly not Donald.
Certainly not Donald. And finally,
not a lover of money. So anybody but Donald Trump is essentially what the Bible has to say.
Right, and then I finished with, what say ye?
And what he said was, sit down and shut up.
No, well, that was what he implied. What he said was, oh boy, I'm in trouble.
Well,
he said it twice. Yes. Oh boy, I'm in trouble.
And what's funny is that
had the mic been live on the CNN or MSNBC feed, it would be one of these perfect career-ending snafus. That line right there, oh boy, I'm in trouble. But for whatever reason, the way they had it mic'd up.
Whatever reason, it was for a damn good... I wouldn't be the least bit surprised now if you've been doing this long enough that they see you coming. And they're like, yeah, we'll get to that guy when nobody's looking.
Yeah.
Because you're dangerous. You made Huckabee look like a fucking jackass. It was awesome.
Oh.
It was awesome. And what
That was not my intention. I didn't want to make
do you know
him
what you're
look...
doing, though, that I'm loving about this, now that we're like 2-3 beers into this whole political discussion thing?
Sure.
Is with your behind-the-scenes filming, with your guerrilla technique.
That's it. Keep going. I just want to make sure this... Yeah,
you're exposing the lunatic hypocrisy and fear-mongering that is going on, in the very least on the right, and to no small effect on the left. But I mean, for you to call Huckabee on some straight, on every religious fundamentalist favorite section of the Bible, Leviticus,
Sure.
and to call him on it, and not just call him on it, but smash him on it, I mean, and for him to
rounding the corners for your beard. That's from Leviticus. I said, I can see on your face that you were a sinner. You shave your face. That's easy. Boom. He says, oh, I don't remember that. I talk about there's fine linens. There's not eating lobster.
You got him is basically what happened, and
it's not hard to do.
And there was a skirt, but there was this big skirt around about how what I meant by that was and what I find interesting, again, with the Donald Trump, with the oh boy, I'm in trouble, or even with his supporters that are attacking you, when you came under physical assault, or the guys in the car.
Another good point.
We'll get to that in a minute. But in all of these scenarios, what I find very interesting is what you're essentially doing is you are bringing these people to a moment of last resort where they have to abandon the horse shit that they're putting forward as what they're actually about as people. In order to deal with you in the way they want to, I give Huckabee the most credit out of all because he's at least still doing some some political dancing.
He went back and forth for a good 6 minutes.
Oh.
I give Huckabee a lot of credit for having patience to even discuss these things. Even his whole... Well, stop right there and tell me, isn't all life precious? And I said, absolutely, that's why I'm a vegetarian. And he just had this look of... And he started to talk about abortion, and I said I would agree with you that I don't believe that it's necessarily right to take a life, but it's not I don't put my morality on someone else. I don't put my morality on a woman. That's the law
of this land.
By the way, so that's why free choice is an important thing, and like
even the Bible says. Check this out. That
the Quran says that it's there's actual date where the soul enters.
Well, not even on that. I'm saying that the Bible, two interesting things about the Bible that all of these people tend to skip. One, judgment is not to be made by man. Judgment is not to be made by men. Let me say that one more time. Judgment is not to be made by men. It is the province of God, if you believe in the Bible, not the province of men. You have no business judging each other. You're supposed to be nice to each other. When we're all dead, God's going to come and handle that. Okay, that's one. And two, even if there is a sin, if there is a life taken in abortion, in the Bible, God states that we are all to choose Him or not. Choose sin or righteousness. We are expected to be faced with moral moments where we choose one or the other. And no man can make that choice for any other man, nor should we. Because even if you are a believer in God, that is a moment that is definitive in your pact between you and God. Once again, no humans need apply. Even if you are to commit an immoral act, it is not the business of your fellow man to judge or condemn you for it, or even to note you on your sin. Only to forgive you your sin, explain to you that there is forgiveness to be found in the love of Christ, and then hope to show you the light. Not force you to see the light, not condemn the shadow that you've supposedly been living in, not judge you, not separate you, not ostracize you, not punish you for being the flawed, sinful mortal that you were made to be by your God.
And who among us is not sinful?
All of us. But rather, the point is to love each other, and hopefully through that love show each other the love of God. And perhaps in the presence of hope, turn each other away from sin.
And on that note, I love you, baby.
I love you too, brother.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night, y'all. Thank you for listening.
Peace and love.